What is going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode, Conspiracy or Just a Coincidence. I am Jack Allen. First, go follow me if you're not following me at COJAC Podcast. And that's that. I made it pretty easy. That's my username for everything, so you can follow me there. And so today, this is the COJAC Plus show that's going to be going on Billy and John's new radio station that should be out like any week, they tell me. So we'll see. But so my co-host, Scott, what's going on, dude? How
Jack,
are you today?
I'm hanging in there. Me and the dog behind me, we're ready to hold up our end of the bargain and get into some crazy stuff. Yeah, I'm eager to see what we got on deck.
Well, so everybody, I wanted to start with, we're like famous. The Little Rascals Alfalfa liked our stream, so I already told Scotty he can send that to his mom to let her know that we made it, dude. We made it.
Bug, if you're listening out there somewhere, just know you made my day. That's for sure. So big fan.
Hell yeah. So you've been talking to me about the Alex Jones trial for, that you've been sending me. I pulled up a few clips, but from like a cursory or from your viewpoint, what is your immediate, like, what do you think of Alex Jones? What do you think of like the trial and all those things?
To be honest, he's like the perfect example of which I can give like our audience kind of my knowledge and like where I stand on. I would say most of the stuff we end up talking about is very surface level knowledge myself. So I probably learned about Alex Jones maybe 3-4 years ago. And all I would see was honestly like my buddy who I was working with would send me YouTube clips of this crazy guy freaking out saying like this really outlandish shit, and
like turning the frogs gay.
The classic one I always remember is Obama and Hillary smell like sulfur. That's like,
nice.
So nice. Like there's just stuff like that. Like, so that's how I knew him. And then I would say after kind of someone obviously suggested Joe Rogan a few years ago, got into that. And then he did his few episodes. And that's kind of where I was like fully introduced, not to like just his personality, but also like I looked up like what's the name of his old show? The
InfoWars?
Yeah, InfoWars. Like, so like that kind of stuff I was made aware of. Like, I just thought he was like some crazy guy. And to be honest, I thought he was news channel affiliated. Like, I thought he was like some Fox or So that's kind of who I thought he was. Now I have more of a, I guess, real world understanding of who he is.
So what do you think? Well, what do you think of him? Just that he's crazy?
No, because like I've listened to more of his stuff. Like the way he presents it is insane. So like that's where I think he loses a lot of his credibility, is just like you can't scream stuff. So like that's my opinion. Like you can't tell me like frog people are going to take over the world when you're like also trying to make a rational point too. Like, and maybe they are, but you understand what I'm saying.
Right. So I got you.
I would say I believe some of the stuff he says. This issue is really touchy. Like, I don't know what's really going on, obviously, but he says some outlandish stuff that I don't know if there's any credibility. That's kind of where I stand.
So in like the truther world, he's like a hated figure or a love figure. So like half the community despises him with every fiber of their being. And I don't really care like either way about him, but they hate him. They say he's like, and he kind of is, he's like disinfo agent. So like the thing is like kind of like what you were saying, some of it's like 90% of what he says is true. And then there's this 10% that it's probably not true. So there's like people like literally hate his guts. And
just
also
because let me ask, like, so why is the hate? Because of that 10% of the truth he was told?
And because he makes so much, I think it's a lot of like hate that he makes so much. I mean, dude, he makes bank. I think I told you he was making like that one text showed $800,000 a day in 20. I mean, that's a lot of money. So they equate that to selling out. And he probably did it as like, so like old Alex Jones from the beginning is much different than the one now. So like he doesn't talk about certain topics or certain groups and things like that, but
he's become a little more reserved.
Do you know who Bill Hicks is?
Why do I? Yeah, the comedian.
Dude, you're perfect. So that's a conspiracy theory. Did you know that? That Bill Hicks is Alex Jones.
Is Alex Jones?
Is Alex Jones. It's the same person.
I've never heard that before, because
Yes,
Bill Hicks
dude.
was the only reason I know. I don't nothing about him really, but you hear other comedians talk about how crazy he was on stage. Like he was
Bill
like,
Hicks.
yeah, like he was an animal, dude. Like he didn't give a like people think like these days Joey Diaz is crazy. Bill Hicks was saying crazier stuff than he did back in like the 70s or whenever he was prevalent. So
that's so funny. And
but I
it's
wonder what the age. Yeah.
Well, so dude, it like matches
Oh
up with
shit,
age
that's
too.
Bill Hicks.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't know that's what he looked like,
Dude.
just pulled him
I
up big
I wish I
screen.
had. There's like a few videos, but I don't feel like pulling them
Oh,
up.
here.
But
See,
yeah, like
dude.
they there's plenty of ways, but he like I'm trying to see, this article is gonna stink because it's
Yeah.
making fun of it. But here, let's see. Well, I'll just pull up this is probably too long a video, but I'm gonna see how long it is. But yeah, like all these. So, and this isn't like a new theory. So like Bill Hicks, they say it about Jim Morrison, or no, not who's another guy they say died, or they faked his death and he pulled up somewhere
But
else.
okay, while you're thinking of it, give me the answer to this. Like, what is the point? Because I've heard this is like where, as a kid, conspiracy or whatever the technical term is, like truthers at that time were made fun of, because it's like that's what it all was about, like fake deaths. And like, so what's the benefit of faking Bill Hicks's death to bring him back as like, is he a pawn? Like,
well, so the what people would say to you is that they faked Bill Hicks' death because all these guys are actors, and Alex Jones is an actor. He's just playing his role to like mislead the truther community. And so that all these people are like actors, and they just, and I'm trying to think of who else they faked the death. Like they say that, and I cannot think of, and I asked the chat, let me see.
But does Alex Jones have the relevancy to, like, you know what I'm saying? Like derail the truther community? Like that's what I don't get.
He has a huge following. So that's like this thing is like it wouldn't be out of this question that the CIA, like they do this. It's called, there's an operation called, Operation, I forget what the name is, but agent provocateur. So they would send, like for the hippie or like the Black Panthers. That's a good example. The Black Panthers, they had a rat in the Black Panthers, and he was informing on them to the FBI. He was like he was, pretty powerful. And the Black Panthers ended up killing the kid because they found out he was a rat. But like, so they do this all the time, or like the BLM protest, like riots of 2020.
Yeah.
You remember that there was a video of a guy all black and he was smashing out windows out of an AutoZone, but nobody was around him. And so like, that's like, so they do this to have a reason to go ham on people, like oh, now the protest is a riot. Now we can mop them up. So it's not out of like the question of the CIA creating a persona to manipulate us.
I guess in my head, I would always think like, oh, well, why not make the most powerful? You know what I mean? Like you hear these big names on the news, like Tucker Carlson, like those people, to me, if I were them, like those people have, in my opinion, a little more influence, I would say. But then again, like that's a major piece to be moving as your quote.
But it's like it's the one community that could maybe call you out, like, because we've got all of us in this questioning world, they do all this research and stuff. So if you have a leader of the group that can spin it so you're going this way as opposed to this way, that's why it's useful. But
it makes sense.
I don't hate like Alex Jones, like something. Like I think he's funny. He's such a good entertainer. I mean, just like who he is. Everybody knows who he is.
I mean, dude, those episodes of Rogan were like do not miss. Like they were, because you knew he was just going to go ham, and he geared up for it. And he, like you said, he put on a show.
Well, dude, I saved a few clips, and like, let me put let's see how to do this. But it was such like a sham and so like people in like I said, in our community, they hate it. They hate him so much. So they're like cheering on, oh, like, look at, he's crying. But like, what they don't understand is like, dude, this is not a good thing for anyone, because if you can be sued for, not libel, what's the other one?
You're
not blasphemy. Not libel, but the other, because libel's written, but for saying things that are incorrect. that you could get. I mean, like no one's gonna be able to say anything, but like this video.
Yeah. Turn it up.
Like what a bitch, dude. Did you hear it?
No, I can see it. So for the people that are going to end up listening, but the volume, if you can get it up,
like, I don't know why it was so low,
but still, dude, like it's the fact that it's what we're talking about. It's the stuff that's going on in this is literally internet clips, dude. Like we talked about it. It looks like it's a scripted TV show, and I don't know if that's how court is, but it's comical how bad they are at acting because the entire I don't, and at least that's how it comes across, dude. Like I don't want to come also across like I don't know this issue well enough because I don't want to make it seem as I'm insensitive to every little thing. But dude, like how the cell phone, what was it?
His lawyer,
Alex Jones's lawyer, accidentally sent his entire record of text messages to the opposing lawyer and then did nothing about it. Like what?
And he let his guy like out to dry on the stand. Like you're paying this guy millions of dollars to defend you. Like the odds of this. So I think that's what I also think. It's like a planned demolition of Alex Jones. So like he's an actor. The CIA controls him. They're doing this trial to set an example, and now that the first domino has fallen, so they can go after smaller people that don't have and they're maybe Alex probably has the money, or they'll just kind of brush it under the rug. But there was and so that clip that I just showed, the judge was like, "Are you chewing gum?" And he's like, "No, it's gauze." She's like, "You're chewing on gauze?" But it's just such a scam trial. I have one other photo of the judge. Let me see if this is the one. But she's like all just so this is it. This is the one I have. I just want to use like, is this like like I told you I would never go to trial because your jury is full of stupid people. But look at that.
Oh, awesome.
Dude, that's like, how are you going to get an honest case with like, maybe if you were a drug addict, that's the judge I want. But
with someone, with someone who's like clearly I mean, is his view on politics like conservative? Like, I don't even understand kind of where
he used to be like, well, so it's so weird. Like I'm like when we were kids, the right was like the big satanic panic, I guess a little before our time, but like, the Christian community would come after like Eminem. Remember that? Like he had to go to the trial for that. And that was the conservative party. So most people that were like freedom loving were on the left, were Democrats. And then it was this like after Trump, it like broke and maybe it just switched. Maybe there was a plan, but it broke like everybody. And now that's why like everybody is on the right. So Alex Jones used to attack George Bush. He like he was one of the first. He ran up to him in Texas and like confronted him and all this stuff like that.
Okay.
But so he wasn't a Democrat, but he wasn't right. But now the way it go, you would definitely consider him, a conservative or right leaning.
Which to me is like, and I've heard the theory before where it's like a pendulum, like the freedom of speech it'll eventually swing back to where then again, conservatives are going to be getting angry at, the looseness that's spoken, because I mean, think of how tight, like, and it's all due to social media, right? Because like, that's where you're policed the most, especially by the left. Like you have to watch what you say, or you can, someone like me, like I'm just trying to get a podcast started and I have to walk on eggshells because
you do,
especially early, because if they catch wind, they're just like, boom, no, this kid's sucks. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, dude, you're the one who told me about, not that you created the pendulum idea, but I remember you brought that up. I think when you were first on my show, like a year ago.
A long time ago.
And so recently I've been like feeling more positive about the future because I see more and more people like our generation. Like it's so many people are so exhausted of like this woke culture that I do think like if you went back 20 years ago to people our age and you said like traditional gender roles are a positive thing, they would say, no, you're crazy. Like this is the few that's so old fashioned. And now I think if you ask like our generation, how do you feel about traditional gender roles being brought back or whatever? And I think a lot of people would be more open, not maybe as full, like my grandparent wouldn't let my dad's sisters go to college, not that far, but like this place where you know your identity. Like it's so hard for people because we're so confused. We don't know the role we're supposed to play. So I do think that your pendulum idea is like possible. It could be like correct or whatever.
Well,
It's something that's possible.
the other thought, dude, is also that like I know active like members of the LGBTQ that are getting exhausted by the woke community because it's like I swear to God, it sounds really rough out of my mouth, but like lesbians, from what I've gathered, hate a lot of the current culture because now like everyone can be anything, and these are people that like fought through the 80s when it was even a harder demographic to kind of fight through. So that's where I think we also have some hope, where it's like there's other people that have like actually fought for these, you know, quote unquote rights or whatever you want to say, and they're just getting washed over by like rich, stupid young people who want to have a cause.
Right. Well, is it okay? How are you connected to the LGBT?
So I have a sister-in-law who's like in a relationship, a fiance. So she's actively, and like obviously we've grown up like knowing people that are I'm part of the, you know, recovery community. You meet all types of backgrounds.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
absolutely.
You know, so I have it like relatively close to home, and then also, you know, at a distant friendships and stuff like that.
Yeah. No, but it just, and I also see like the lesbians get picked on. I don't know if your sister-in-law ever talked about this, but it's like they get called TERFs. Do you know what a TERF is?
No, not off the top of my head. I haven't heard that one.
It's basically like you're a feminist, so you're a girl. You'd be called like J.K. Rowling gets called a TERF because she doesn't believe men should play in women's sports, and so it's like they're actually getting like pushed out by the. Yeah, they're getting bullied by the men that are.
And that's one of my favorite like all-time stand-up like jokes is just people who make fun of like the male feminist and like how much of a joke, like clearly, dude, it's just a ploy for you to get to know these women. Like it's like, come on, dude. Like I understand, I believe everyone should be treated equal. I don't think that's a crazy thing to say, but like the stuff that these people do, just try to like ruin other people's lives. Like,
dude, it's crazy, dude. That's why I got to use a fake name and everything because it's a terrifying world.
But what I think it'll get burned out. That's where my hope lies. Is that this living like that, dude, having like some cause. Like I give you credit because like doing what you do, all the research, all the books you read, like that's a lot of work. For the average Joe now it's gonna be too exhausting to have that much effort put into stupid like causes that you're into.
And so for anyone, if you're listening, I can't say the name of a book, but I'm going to hold up a book. I told Scotty here that I got it since we're speaking of books, and then I got a new topic. But if you guys can see the title, I just bought this from John. We've read the documents. It's signed too. So I can't obviously do a show on YouTube about it, but one day I'll do an outline for everybody. But anyway, so did you hear Kim K and Pete Davidson broke up?
Oh no way. Dude, look at you
a few minutes ago.
Look at you breaking news here on
I know, dude. Plus. It just happened like 10 minutes ago.
I'm Mr. Pop Culture in this friendship. Now Jack Allen's the one bringing the heat. So, oh God, God only knows. He probably found out too many secrets. He found out where the bodies.
He's such a chotch, dude. He does the same joke like, I don't even know how I'm here, you know. Then like he's like I don't know how I made it here. My dad, he died.
My dad died in 9/11.
That's all he says, dude. That's his joke. Like, oh, I don't even know what I'm doing up here, but my dad died in 9/11 in New York, right? You know, and it's like, and that's exhausting.
Probably what she realized he was all about. Like that's his whole personality.
Yeah, dude. But I just wanted to bring it. So, what's your? I think we've talked about space on this show before, but do you have so I wanted to show this video.
That's another one that's an early conspiracy world kind of view, like you always hear about, like, oh, everyone who believes in conspiracies doesn't think the Earth or the moon landing was real.
Yeah, that's
So
that's like the OG one, right?
My biggest, like, so I don't know what to think about space, honestly, dude, because I can see it being totally fake or honestly, like, but why haven't we been back to the moon? That's my biggest argument.
Well, so there's a clip with well, so first of all, so you see this clip that these Chinese astronauts are in. Let me refresh it so it starts from the beginning. With these Chinese astronauts, they're in space, they're doing an interview, and there's a glass of water sitting on the table, but it's not going anywhere. You know, they're floating in space, but the glass of water isn't floating. Well, that goes against everything you got. All these videos you guys show me of like squirting water in the air and it like comes out as bubbles and things like that. You have to like,
Here, I got one for you, dude. So my wife is a diehard Bachelorette fan, like Bachelorette. This week on the episode, I've become now a diehard. They went on a one-on-one date, and there's these things called like zero gravity planes. Okay. So it's a plane. You
continue.
Strap in. It takes you, and I didn't. So I was kind of zoned out, but I think what it does is it reaches a certain level of altitude at a certain speed that allows you to experience zero gravity. And for the show, obviously, they're kissing, like the whole thing. But it also got my head thinking, like, damn, dude, they just did that like on fucking ABC. Like, what do you think NASA could do?
So that's like what I don't really take a stance. I think all the videos are fake. I don't know if the Earth's flat or you can get to outer space, but that's what people. It's so funny you brought that up, that you saw it on The Bachelor, but that's how they say these videos are filmed. Like when they're really doing like the no gravity, they go on those planes and they film it. They have like a studio inside the plane and they film it, and I think you can get like a minute of weightlessness, and then you'll go down. But it's eventually so fun. So I was on. They did it. What is like a date on The Bachelor?
Leave it.
What's that? Oh, Scotty's dog is. If you guys have seen it, it's a big Dalmatian running around.
Yeah, sorry.
No, did you? I was saying it was on The Bachelor as like a date idea or something.
Yeah. So like the idea of the show is like one guy a week gets a one-on-one date, and that was their big activity that they did. So
what a date idea, dude.
Well, yeah, you got to experience fake space, and now those people have to live with that knowledge. So it's but
one
so
dude
like
in the chat. Nice. One dude in the chat said if Apollo 11 landed on the moon, there would be a Starbucks there by now.
So that's
a good joke.
And it is. And that's the other thing. It's like, where's all the advancement, right? Like all these rich guys can just like, and Flippy Hambone's a sick name, by the way. But for those, like the advancements, like we just keep getting like further into the atmosphere, and like Elon Musk is talking about a swimming pool on Mars in a few years, and why aren't we on the moon?
Yeah, well, dude. Like, so the one guy, Don Pettit, he was in that clip that I just kind of showed. He's like a head of NASA, and so that's this famous clip of him is saying like, they're taking questions from kids or whatever, and he says, "Oh, why don't we go back to the moon? Oh, I'd love to go back to the moon, but we lost the technology to do it. And it'd be very painful to put it all together again." That's his direct quote. So you can see the issue with that. Like, dude, you lost your home. The dog ate your homework and you can't redo it. I find that, you get like $80 billion a year. You like computers then were like this. If there were any, were like the size of a goddamn basement. And now they're in our hand. We have the same computing power in a phone. But you can't put the data. What does that mean? You can't put the data.
Who's working at NASA? Me? Like that's
exactly, dude.
That's something I tell my boss. Like, it's really complicated. It's deep in the file.
I would do it, but I just can't. Can't.
It's probably better if we just start from scratch, guys. I mean, it's like, what are you talking about?
And dude, those guys in those planes, everyone thinks they're going to outer space. I don't want to give the wrong, but how high does Jeff Bezos
that's he technically, right? He didn't even like, you don't make it.
Yeah, dude. So he went a peak altitude of 282,000 feet. And that's not even, or 340,000 feet, but it's still like it's not even like a fifth of the way there. You know what I mean? Like it's so far away. like it's not even like, it's just like a plane pretty much,
Yeah,
you know?
and that's what I mean. It's like you pay all that money and like all this experience and all this stuff, and you can't even like send me to the moon, the thing that I can look at. Like, and the other thing I wondered too, dude, the thing he took have a window? Like, did he take that ride like just to, because that's the other thing, like you were, I'm sure, hinting at, they tell them they're going to space. Like, dude, if you put me in a plane close to space, I'd be like, all right, I'm in space now. Like, you know, like it's these people, like, no wonder they think they go. They have no one's experienced it. We're just supposed to judge by Buzz Aldrin and what he has to say. Dude, you know what I mean?
Taking photo. So that was another thing from
So who's they like Buzz Aldrin?
Who is Buzz Aldrin?
Is he an actor?
Oh, listen to this, Scott. You know what the Freemasons are. I'm sure we've talked.
Yeah, we did.
All three of those guys on Apollo 11 were 33rd degree Freemasons. There's a Freemasonic lodge, like as a joke, on the moon. But it's so hard to get to that high level, like the 32nd.
Oh, that's the big wigs?
Yeah, that's the top of the top. Like, you know, there's very few people get to that level. So it's 32, and then there's a secret one that you have to be invited to, the 33rd, and all three of them, Buzz, Neil, and whoever the other guy was.
Yeah, everyone always forgets that guy.
Yeah, well, you know, who cares? But yeah, so 30. I mean, so what are the odds of that, dude? Like, that's pretty. That's kind of like, you know, that's like three I don't know, good.
It's a little jarring that. Yeah. And so let me also, the other thing I was wondering, like with Freemasons, like, do these people, were they open about like being Freemasons, or is it like a secret society that you're not supposed to know?
Yeah, like our grandparents, I'm sure your pop knew people in Freemason. Like, those people aren't there. They'll tell you they're a Freemason, but these people in the top, they're the ones that are secretive about it.
Okay, that's what I was wondering. Okay.
Yeah. So it's not like they put it on their shirt, but like they, you know, it's just like even I think rappers today, they've like moved away from Freemasonry because it's so like the only people that are like grandparents, no one else is joining Freemasonry, but now they've just moved to different groups and utilize different things. But all those hand symbols. Oh, wait. So like, you know, like this hand symbol is the 666. Yeah. Like the another thing people will point to about the Earth is the Earth's tilt is 66.6 degrees. It goes 666,000 spinning 666,000 miles per hour. So it's at a 66.6 degree tilt or whatever. That all these 666s you know, are like, again, what are the odds of this happening? That the number for the devil is what the Earth is in positioned in the sky. Like, that's, I find that just again hard to believe.
Yeah. Nice round number.
And it was Isaac Newton who did it, who was I think he was a Freemason. So you can see why it's you know,
trickled down. Yep.
And but I'm sure I've already told you about my moon. The moon may be a spaceship. I'm sure you've heard me talk about the moon.
As I've been in tune with your views on the moon, it was hollow. So I think
well, so that's the one theory, is like it either proves intelligent design or it's a spaceship, if you can get there, if it's real, because all these things like it's so the sun is 40 times bigger than the moon, but the moon is 44 times bigger than the moon, but the moon is 44 times closer to Earth than the sun. So it looks the exact same size in the sky. It's like all these, it weighs like, we only see the one side. It perfectly rotates with the Earth, so you never see the other side of it. Like if it was like an inch further away, it would cause chaos, supposedly. And it's an anomaly. Like all the other moons for all the other planets, they're never this big. Like this is significantly, like by times 10, like 10 times bigger than it should be compared to every other moon. And then last thing, like when they landed on it, they supposedly set off seismic things, and it was hollow. So they make this one book, I think it's called The Hollow. I don't know what the book's called. I can't remember, but they talk about how the moon is most likely like an artificial satellite. So I just found that.
So almost like, I mean, and I know your lack of knowledge in the Star Wars department, but it's the Death Star.
Yes, really dude, it is the Death Star.
It's an overseer of what we're doing. And do you think that's us that did it or alien life form? Who's
I don't believe in
watching
aliens anymore. But
Okay.
I saw if it is hollow, then it's either some demons, maybe like Satan is chilling up there, or
Okay.
I don't know what the Bible says about the moon, but
you ever see you see the new bullshit that Joe Rogan posted today? If you go to his maybe Instagram, I think he posted Instagram or Twitter. It's one of those new, like, all these pictures that are coming out of these fancy telescopes. Dude, he posted one today. It looked like if someone had me paint space. Like,
are you talking about
it's the Milky Way. It's like some Milky Way or like some galaxy that's 4 bajillion times away.
Oh, no, this is that's a joke. That one.
Yeah,
that's that guy.
Yeah, you idiot.
This one.
That one. Yeah, dude. It's like, look at the caption. I'll read it. Incredible photo from the James. It's cutting off because of the
James Webb. It's probably James Webb Telescope, a cartwheel of a galaxy 500 million light years away.
Dude, I just don't. What does he think this looks like? I mean, cool, dude, but you could have sent this to me and be like, yo, I just drew this. Isn't this cool? Like, it doesn't look like, it doesn't justify space to me.
Well, how about, dude, if you think that one's cool, took out this photo of the that just came out. What do you think of that one? It was a French scientist who posted it. Do you think that one's cool?
It's a piece of pepperoni.
It is a piece of pepperoni.
Yeah, dude.
How did you know that?
Because, dude, I knew you weren't showing me but I was like, wait a minute, the little white chunks. Like, that's what I'm saying, dude. That gets posted, and some idiot like me is like, "Oh, cool!" And it's just pepper. We just looked at a man's penis.
Chorizo, Scotty, but you were close with pepperoni.
All right.
I can't believe you knew that, dude. I mean, I wouldn't have. I mean, I don't know what I would have thought it was, but you nailed it, dude. I'm so impressed.
I know my cured meat, so what can I say? That's so funny though. But I swear, dude, that's the kind of stuff that, like, nowadays. That's why you got to watch because idiots like myself don't look into things. And I would send that to someone and be like, look at this. Amazing. You know what I mean? Look at this picture of deep space. And they'll text me back, Scott, that's a pizza. It's like, damn it. It got me again.
Dude, that's so funny that you knew that. And that happens to anybody. Dude. I've reposted stuff that I'm like, oh, in this current climate doesn't seem that outrageous to me. And then I'm like, I Google it just to be sure. I'm like, oh, god damn it.
Yeah, exactly, dude. Especially in your world, there's a lot of like false.
Well, because they blur that line of like satire and serious. Like, so like people will make fake articles, and like the one was like from the Washington Post, is extremely woke paper, and they're like, oh, the hunter or smoking crack could be a good therapeutic thing or something like that. And I retweeted. I'm like, look at these guys are fucking insane. But it was fake.
Oh, phew. But dude, nowadays these like you see, I told you, dude. I said to Jack earlier, I was like, I need to start contributing more like articles and videos for the show. And I was like, I'm gonna follow the New York Post, dude. Every other post they have could be like a tabloid art. Yeah, dude, it's like crazy stuff.
Dude,
like
I know.
having sex with an alien. It's like, what happened? I thought this was reputable.
Dude, I know. All those like they're all just create like these papers. It's so like, I think because it just goes the lowest common denominator, and we're all so stupid that that's interesting to everybody. Like OnlyFans mom's son takes photos of her for extra spending money. Like, oh my god, dude. Exactly. What's wrong with our world?
Yeah.
Well, speaking of funny papers, so there was an article in the Daily Mail. I'm going to share the screen, but I'll read what it said. But China, dude. So like China, we have beef with China or whatever. Who cares? But so China tells the U.S. It can't treat other countries like George Floyd and bully and strangle them at will.
Oh my god, dude. Here we go.
Isn't that a vish, dude? They always do stuff like that, and it's hilarious. Because they're mad because Pelosi went to Taiwan.
Okay, so who posted this article?
so China wrote that, like their Twitter
That's their
account wrote that.
tagline.
That wrote that the U.S. can't bully us around like they did to George Floyd.
That's so crazy.
I know, dude. That's like cringe, but it's just hilarious. It's hilarious.
Yeah, they try to like shove American references down our face, and they're like extremely distasteful.
Dude. And you remember we were talking the fentanyl and everything like that, and how it comes from, we were trying to figure out if you could make fentanyl without poppy seeds or whatever, and you can.
Yeah.
So that's, I remember like we were talking, I think I told you about how like all those, how the US, the CIA was selling heroin and crack and cocaine. And so that we had all these wars, like in Afghanistan, like before 9/11 happened, the Taliban took over and poppy production dropped like 70%. And we helped. And so we needed that poppy production. And then luckily 9/11 happens and we go back in, and poppy production surpassed what it was at before the Taliban took over. And that same thing in Vietnam, like all these wars were around where they grew poppies.
Yeah.
And so now I think that's why we actually like pulled out of Afghanistan with Biden, because you can just create fentanyl in the lab.
Yeah, artificial. You don't need to fight over like the land anymore. Oh, dude, that sucks, because like if this is any indicator of what we went through the last 2 years between like the fentanyl and these like man-made diseases and stuff, like it's about to be exhausting. Because every other day you're gonna have to watch what it's gonna be like. Remember when anthrax was a thing and you had to like watch opening the mail? It was like, that's how everything's gonna be now. Oh, you always say you're gonna move to the middle of nowhere. That's what I need to do.
Dude, well, so I just hit I mean, we know lots of people that have overdosed. It hit 100,000 deaths in 2022 already on fentanyl ODs. Isn't that crazy?
And that's the craziest part, that it's fentanyl ODs only listed, right? It's like, oh my God.
Well, and dude, it's like, as you know, like it's such a mess that like people want the fent, like people, you know, they say test your drugs, but people want the one that's the strongest. Like they don't want, I would look for if I heard people were ODing off of a certain stamp or a certain bag, that was where I went. And that's like such a broken, you know, very sad, but broken system.
Yeah. And nowadays it's like, now that's where the line stops, right? Because like the idea when we were using was, all right, let's get them high, but not kill them. So they keep coming back. And nowadays it's like, let's just sell it and who cares? So it is crazy, dude. It's a scary time. Like I would lose that's why I can't go back to that lifestyle, because we would die. Like you would.
Yeah. Dude, it's all, that's why you never see old, as you know the saying, but I'm just saying it for there's no old heroin addicts, because they always they die.
And it's the other funny thing too is what's his name? Oh, he just died. Norm Macdonald had a bit about how you growing up, you're like, oh, I'll do heroin when I'm 80. And then you meet an 80-year-old and they're covered in bruises, and you ask them, oh, how'd you get those bruises? The wind. And it's like, you're not going to use heroin. Like the wind's giving you bruises. Like
that's hilarious.
Dude,
he has he has an awesome joke. I just mentioned it last episode. And it's like, he's like, I read a history book the other day, and it's amazing. The good guys have won the war every single time. And it's like, dude, that's so perfect, because that they always say this. They say, oh, you're like, you know, America, like they paint us in this way, like we saved the day. And it's like, dude, there's no way that the winner of every war was the good guy. That doesn't make any sense.
Well, that's why like the truther world is interesting, because it's just a skewed view of everything, right? Like it's like you're just like taking the time to process it a little deeper, because like it's so easy to fall into that trap, right? You watch the news, you'll see some bullshit story about like someone doing something, taking their wiener out on Zoom or whatever, like some crazy shit. And like, I don't know. It's just, that's how you consume it nowadays. And I don't know.
So I don't think I brought up this, so in tech, so you know what a gun buyback program is, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, in Texas, and everywhere they do these gun buybacks. Who takes those? First of all, I don't know who's taking their guns to these buyback programs, because you get like $150 for any gun. that seems like you're getting like every gun, for people that don't know, like a handgun at least costs at least like $350, you know, at
easily.
least. Maybe you get a used one cheaper or whatever, but why are you selling it for $150? Take it to the gun shop. I guarantee you'll get more money. But so this guy brilliantly, he had a 3D printer and he printed out, you'll see in this box, all these handguns, and they can't actually shoot because you need to put a barrel on them, but it has the base, so it could easily be made into a gun. And he made $9,000 because he gave him 65 or 75 of 3D printed guns that cost like $3, you know, like $1 in plastic to make. Brilliant.
Wow. Brilliant. Yeah, dude, that's so crazy. What a good idea. Well, also goes to show you, everyone's gonna have a gun soon, because whether you're gonna try to take them away, people are just gonna do this guy's method and start printing their own.
But I just found that story. Now they changed the rules, but our people are so stupid, dude. Like, you don't, like, people are crafty, you know. No one's
there's slime balls everywhere. They're gonna find the way around this, I promise.
But I just found that hilarious, dude. It
is, dude. What a balls at home. I know. Don't worry, babe. I'm coming home with a fat check.
He made $9,500, dude. And though it is tax dollars, like dude, we're so, like, money is so made up these days. I'd rather him have it than Ukraine. So take the 10 grand, enjoy it, dude. You won. Nowadays, you won the day.
That statement doesn't mean that. It's like, well, someone's gonna get it, right? Like, it's not going into my pocket anymore. I have no control where my fucking money goes anymore.
No, dude. And that's like so sad. Like, that, I always say this, that's how you can tell this isn't like a serious country or world. Like, if the country was like a human, you would not keep going into debt at year after year, change zero behaviors, unless you wanted to lose, become bankrupt and lose everything, or maybe you're a drug addict or something. But otherwise, dude, you wouldn't continually put we're in $34 trillion of money debt. And then you also, all like our Social Security, welfare programs, all health insurance, medical bills, all these things it goes over to like $130 trillion in debt that America is.
Imagine those overdraft fees. Holy moly. It's like, you know what I'm saying, dude? Like, it's not, like you said, it's never gotten smaller. And it's such a stupid scare tactic too, because when do you hear about the national debt? Times like this, when like, it's only like crisis moments where it's like, oh, we can't give the people money. We're $40 trillion in debt. It's like, well, then why are we loaning them money? Like, what are we doing? Where does it come from? That's
I think they're trying to crash it. That's because there's no other explanation. Like, no, obviously, like you said, they only bring it up like at certain times, like to get, like, own somebody on Twitter. Like, how about the debt? You want to spend it on this? But besides that, dude, the only reason would be they're trying to crash the dollar and start over with like a digital dollar, because there's no other possible explanation. Like, you can't keep taking, like, it doesn't work. Eventually you'll have to start paying it back, eventually.
Yeah. And I would love to know when the time it was zero. Like, when was our balance?
Good
zero?
Question.
Because
one of the last times I think it was balanced was.
Oh, really? Like, we do know that? Like,
yeah, dude.
In balance?
For example, Andrew Jackson. So the War of 1812, that's the joke. When was the War of 1812? 1812. But it was, so that was, we got her in 1776. So how many years is that? Like 40 years later. So Britain, Rothschilds more specifically, were pissed because we had a central bank charter and it was going to expire. And so that's their bank. The central banking is the Rothschild banking system. And so it's expiring and we're not going to renew it. So they have a quote like, we're going to make you bankrupt. We're going to bankrupt your country. And so Britain started this war, and it only lasted 3 years, and we destroyed them. But so we didn't put the bank in. But so from that and other things, we're like $25 to $50 million in debt. That's a lot, 18, whatever. And then Andrew Jackson becomes president. He's like the guy on the 20.
Yeah, which they're redesigning. Did you see that?
I'm sure they're going to put Harriet Tubman on. But so he was in 1829, and he said they're a den of vipers, and he made sure the charter never came back. And by the end of his presidency, he was able to pay back what we owed and add 25 million to the coffers.
Damn.
Dude, right? And that's like because there was no, so back when he was doing it, it was just the government was in charge of the money. So they printed it, there wasn't usury on it. Like now, I think I've told you this, but now if you took all the dollars in the world, every single dollar, you collected them, you paid back the central banks, you would still be in debt because every dollar they print, they put interest on that dollar. So even if you handed in every dollar, digital
pennies
dollar,
on, yeah,
you would still not have enough money. Wow. Like it's so sickening and disgusting.
Dude, it's literally like the government or whoever is the Rothschilds, I'm assuming, or whoever is behind all the money movement. It's like Office Space where they're printing money but taking a fraction of a penny off the dollar, and it just goes into this computer system, and we like that's literally what it's like.
It is, dude. No, that's exactly it. There's a good quote by Henry Ford, who was a vicious anti-Semite, but that's okay. But he wrote in his one famous quote was, if the people of America understood our banking system, there would be a revolution tomorrow. And it would be, dude, because nobody understands. Like, so if you put $1,000 in the bank, it used to be before, like central bank, the bank could loan that out and they would give you small interest or whatever. They could loan it out to one person or whatever until the $1,000 gone, right? Because you can't loan out 10,000 with 1,000 But once this central banking came in, it's called fractional banking. And so with that $1,000 you put in the bank, they can load that $1,000 out 10 times. And then they can do another trick where they can loan it out another 10 times.
Wow.
And so it's just all fake, dude.
So then it's fake money. Yeah,
exactly, dude. It's totally broken. Like that, but that doesn't make sense.
Does that why crypto has like an appeal to people? Because like there is like the quote unquote, but now it's like not finite, right? Like you can, I don't know. That's the,
so some crypto, they like some of it, like Bitcoin's number. I think there's like 22 million Bitcoins in the world. And after that, it'll never, won't ever grow. So that's like the appeal. People are like, oh, because the big selling point with central banks was like, what they did in the 1800s when America didn't have the Federal Reserve, because the bankers still could manipulate it. So they caused all these panics, like financial panics and runs on banks by doing underhanded things. And so that was their big selling point in 1913. They did a big panic in like 1907. And so they were like, are you tired of this happening? Well, if you just open a central bank, it'll stop. This won't ever happen again. We need someone to oversee it. And so that was, I don't know how I related that to crypto, but yeah.
It's still interesting though, because, and that's the other thing about our stupid generation is like, everyone thinks they can just like reinvent the wheel. So like now there's like all the, the ape shit for NFTs, like everyone's trying to, because they realize you can make quote unquote your own money if you identify something with value. But the idea is like, look how quick NFTs are gone. Like that's a joke. Like,
oh dude, those were I think they're a money laundering scam.
Of course. And I give crypto the credit because at least it's made like at least somewhat of a financial impact. And it's been longer lasting than I thought, especially upon hearing it initially. But now they're depleting the dollar so much. It's like you're saying, what value does,
Yeah. Well, they're both made up, but I'm not like a big crypto guy. But have you ever seen, like old video games, right? So like, it's like a big market to buy old video games.
Yeah.
Like
we sold all of ours.
Right. Exactly. All the systems that we sold for $20 to buy one bag of heroin, all those games, they're very valuable,
Yeah. There's a market.
There is a market, not just at pawn shops though, but this guy, he's like he has like this huge collection. He's like a big collector, and he bidded like on a Mario game for like $1 million. And so what happens is this guy and his company were pumping the market by going to auctions, selling it to like their company to pump the numbers up. So they made like, they thought, oh my God, an unopened Mario 64 is $1 million. Like, so mine's got to be worth 200,000.
Yeah.
And they prop the market up. And so they do this all with all these video games. They're still doing it now. And then you find out that the one guy that controls like the biggest like retro video game collection company in the 80s, he got in trouble for doing the same thing with silver coins. You remember like how there's like different so he would have like a silver he had a grading company, so you could send your coin and he would grade it, and he manipulated it in a way where like he had all the like he was getting paid to grade your coin, and he could switch it out. Like he was doing all these, he had to pay a fine. And it was the same guy that runs the retro video game market.
No shit, dude.
Isn't
He's
that
probably
crazy?
heavily involved in like trading cards and baseball cards, like you know what I mean? Because that's the same kind of stuff. It's
right. That's what I thought of too. Like that whole scheme. That's that grading system is a scam as well.
Yeah, exactly. It's like it's almost subjective. It's like there's some final judge that's going to tell me because I had this in a case. Like now it's not like,
right.
You know what I mean? That kind of stuff's so stupid to me.
Yeah.
And like, we have a buddy, a mutual friend who's obviously like really into cards and stuff. And like, it's a cool hobby, but like at the end of the day, it's like, oh, now I'm being punished because I was responsible, kept my card in a case, and now you're saying it depleted in value. Like, I don't get that. That's why
it's not like an investment. If you like it as a hobby, I think, we all deserve hobbies.
Yeah.
You got to find, but if you're thinking like my dad, I mean, you remember how many cards we had?
Yeah,
and
same.
Yeah. And my dad thought it was like an investment in the 80s, 90s. He's like, oh, this will put my kids through college. And that's not the,
No, and like, but that has seen a resurgence because of, the internet and
So here I got two other video I wanted to show. So let me put them up. So for everyone, Scott, like I say, he's a newbie in the truther world. So I try to convince him of things. But so this video was at the 2012 Winter Olympics. All right. So we'll just watch, we can talk over it. But so it's just 2012. Can you see it okay?
Mm-hmm.
So you see it's hospital beds, kids in hospital beds. And then they're jumping on, the nurses are dancing.
Dude.
I'm trying to get to the last part where it's really crazy. Oh, look, they had NHS there. That's the British. Oh, this thing then.
Dude.
It's like this Grim Reaper dude with like a wand in 2020. And most people in our community have seen this video. But, very weird video. Very weird for an Olympic ceremony, right? And then I got one. Go ahead. Give me your thoughts.
That's real?
That's real, dude. That was before the 2012 Olympics. They do
what was going on in and I mean
there was
no health.
No. Just it was just like there.
And there's
there was no like it wasn't like referencing anything that was going on in 2012 or anything like that. Was just there. And but people do this all the time, like music. I talk about symbolism in movies and shows and stuff. People will write it off, be like, oh, that's just because they're artsy fartsy. You don't get it. But no, it's not that they're just art. It's because they're trying to tell you or do like a ceremony or something like that.
Yeah.
And then this is the other one I wanted to click out of this.
Dude, that's the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
Dude, and this one's
Grim Reaper with the wand is
I know, dude. And check out this one. So this one was in 2022, just happened. Again in England, of course. But watch what they worship, dude.
The beat pounds to remind us of the relentless drive of industry. They drag a beast, a bull, 10 meters high.
Dude.
So it's like how who in the Bible worship the Israelites? Oh, of course, I can't move my mouse now. Who does that in the Bible? The Israelites with Moses, right? They worship the bull. Yeah. So it's just like, dude, all these things, like they make up these sayings or these dance routines and stuff like that is like, again, artistic. But what is artistic about having a huge bull with people worshiping it?
Yeah, dude, like that lady looked horrible, covered in dirt and chains. It's like, what? That's
dude. Like what is that?
I don't know. And craziest thing, dude, that was a huge crowd. The other one was the Winter Olympics. And how did that fly under the radar? I mean, I could see why I missed it. I was 22, 21 years old.
Yeah.
I was an idiot. I didn't see
at
any
the
TV
time, nobody thought of it. They just thought, oh, that's weird. Like that, I don't get it, but that's a weird ceremony. But they,
But everyone's up in arms over J-Lo shaking her butt cheeks, and like the Grim Reaper holding a wand is like, oh, how tasteful.
Well, dude, so this is called, predictive programming. So this is the theory, at least. So predictive programming is like movies and things like that. They're worried, these elite people, they're worried about karma, and they believe like a karmic scale. So what they do is they tell you stuff that they're going to do before it happens. And that means you're aware, you let it happen. So it's not their fault. Like I'm trying to, like, for examples, I'm going to pull some up. But everyone, in the chat
that would
knows.
help. Yeah.
But like, so, like Bart Simpson. Oh God.
Oh, so it's all like the Simpsons stuff.
The Simpsons are big,
Yeah.
But like in the Simpsons episode, they have one with, they picked Trump coming down the elevator, that famous, all that kind of stuff. It's all just this predictive program.
So that's their like loophole, being like, it's not our fault.
Yeah, we told you, dude.
We showed you on this episode of the Sim. Hope you were watching the Winter Olympics open ceremony. We told you the giant wizard was coming, you bastards. It's like, what are you talking?
Told you the giant wizard was coming.
These people are, I don't know, dude. This whole like, now I'm gonna try to keep my eyes peeled. I'm definitely watching like big things, like the World Cup is coming up.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I think it's this. I can't remember, but like there's something. The Olympics is coming. Something's coming up. I'll watch that. I'm trying to see.
So the Super Bowl, that's like our conspiracy world love the Super Bowl because there's always.
You had thoughts about the butt cheeks?
The butt cheeks?
The halftime, like what's the conspiracy with it?
Oh, they just usually, it's like an occult ritual. So like that, that ceremony with the Olympics, it's like this year, I mean, I was kind of weak, but they did like those little buses, you remember? And it was like FEMA camps. That's what that's where they're going to put us in the end times when we're all locked down. And what else was, I forget this. I'm not a big guy on the symbolism stuff, but most people, I'm sure people in the chat know better. There's been Super Bowls that have been super weird, like Beyonce ones and all these others.
All right. I'll have to look into it. Yeah, that intrigues
dude, you
me.
will. Oh my gosh, dude. My mouse is like acting up here, and I tried to get. Oh, so Rosalind says the dancing is a sexual ritual. And so that's like the thing. They always
I mean, I get it. It's my only combative thought to that would be that it's the big scheme of things now. Well, I guess it's part of what they're saying is everything's hypersexualized now. So it's like part of the norm, but I guess that's goes along with what's being said.
And Flippy says, Katie, so there's this thing called the Whore of Babylon. That's a big,
with the sharks.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like all of her video. I don't know if it's the shark videos.
Katy Perry. That was her halftime show, dude. When that
was
shark started.
That one?
Yeah, that's when the shark danced.
I remember. I thought it was the video where they're like dancing like with a pyramid. She has the big.
Oh, well, that's probably.
I think it's the same song, but yeah, the dancing sharks.
Yeah,
I remember that from the halftime show. It's hilarious, dude.
That's what I didn't know if the truth of the world thought that shark was up to something. He was getting a little close, a little friendly. He got a lot of attention too. What were they trying to keep our eyes off of? I'm thinking big picture now, folks. You guys are fucked. The other thing, dude, the one thing I swear to God, for this show I'm going to look into. I briefly Googled it. I want to know why people vacation to the beach. Because I swear to God, dude, it's a valid thought. Like, why don't we live? Why didn't they build the cities? Like, why aren't we located there? Why is it so ritualistic to go to the beach? I don't know if there's something behind it.
think it's only for us and people in the chat. Do you guys, for your vacations, if you're not on the coast like we are, do you go to the beach for your summer vacation?
People say, from what Google has said, there could be some divine draw to the ocean. That's what
Ooh,
I heard. So that's what I'm saying,
like
dude.
that.
But you would think though, like if that's the thought, if it was a true divine draw, we would have more cities like where we are, Greater Philadelphia, this region, New York. Like we're somewhat close to water, but
Yeah.
you'd think we'd be closer. Like,
Yeah.
and why do we go to the beach? Because, dude, like the things listed under like, oh, you can go swimming, fishing, party. It's like all these things you could do on a river, a lake,
Ooh, dude.
So I was just saying,
Dude, I think this is groundbreaking. This is the first conspiracy you brought to the table, dude. And that's an interesting one. I like that, dude. Because right.
I get, but like how many people do we know that go to the beach and have nothing but complaints about it? Oh, I hate the sand. The water was cold. I got sunburned. It's like all these complaints. Then why are we really here? Like I went on a week-long vacation to the beach. The water was cold. Like we didn't really go in. So now I'm just sitting staring onto this big blue thing, which is, I was fine doing. But I sat there and I thought, why am I here? Like what are we?
Dude, that's a fair. I think you could be onto something with the draw. I get, or tradition, but there's definitely something there, dude. Like it's
even to find out just why it's the tradition, like deep down, I would be interested.
Yeah, dude, that's fair.
I'll do a little digging.
I like that, dude. So my next so two things. So we talked about last episode a lot, like the silly CIA projects, like the one with the cat.
Yeah.
Putting the microphone in the cat. Well, so the one I just talked about last night was called Who? Me? That was the title of the mechanism. Yeah. And what it was in Japan and Asia, like they're very self-conscious. Like they don't want to fart and poop in front of people.
Yep.
Okay. So they won't embarrass them. And so they made a spray that it smells like poop. And so they would give it to little kids in Japanese occupied cities. And they'd say, go spray him in the butt when he's not looking. And they'd spray him the diarrhea smell on these officers. And then they'd smell like shit. And they'd be very embarrassed.
In psychological warfare.
It is exactly. It's psychological warfare. Very good.
The Who Me spray. That's awesome.
I know. They also did with Aunt Jemima mix that you could bake cookies with. It was called Aunt Jemima. I guess now they wouldn't be able to name it that because Aunt Jemima. But
she's canceled.
She's canceled, dude. So I guess plain pancake mix. That's what they did. But you could bake it. You could eat it. And it was actually an explosive device. And so they blew up bridges in China with it. Like you would just attach a detonator to it and it would blow up. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Well, dude, I sent you that picture. We could find it for next week or whatever. But the people trying to cross the border with all that wood, like, remember it was if you're listening, it was a tractor trailer and on the back, what looked like long, 2 by 16 pieces of wood all stacked. Like it was towing big pieces of wood for building a house. Little did they know it was carved out in the middle and there was 14 people shoved in there like a can of sardines.
Yeah.
But it just got me thinking, dude, like that kind of stuff has been going on. Like there's masterful ways to hide and discreetly.
Oh yeah.
Pancake mix, dude. It's pretty creative. The poop spray, but you're putting a lot of trust in a kid with poop spray. Dude. I don't know if I buy this ploy because, excuse me, like you're expecting a kid to sneak up on an officer.
I know a guy that like easily is probably like raped your mother or killed
who has a gun.
Family. Yeah, and he's gonna just like sword your head off if he catches you. I don't know.
Going, and then running. I like the thought of it, but it's almost like a cartoon CRA.
It is a little cartoony. I do agree. You're right. Like if I was a little, I don't know, I can't put myself in a war-torn country, but I think I'd be pretty terrified of the people that are currently occupying my home.
But I mean, dude, if you're a rich country, it wouldn't take much to get, give a kid a fucking full hot meal. Like,
yeah.
It's crazy.
Dude, well, that's what they in Vietnam, like that's how they got all these people, these young guys to fight for them, was they would give them food and propaganda, and then they came out saying how they love democracy. But so I wanted to show you this other CIA. So big news. I don't know if you. So the big news was this Taliban whatever group they're in got killed like on Monday or Tuesday. I don't know if you saw that. I forget his name.
No.
Al-Zawahiri.
Okay.
The only issue with Al-Zawahiri is he's been in the paper, like, I'm not exaggerating, like 8 times since 2001 that we've killed him. So they literally have said we've killed him like in 2005, 2008, 2010, and all these things. So they just lie constantly. Like you can easily prove that they've, like, I think they already mentioned it like 6 months ago that they killed him again.
And this isn't like a John Smith, like same guy, different name. You know what I mean? Like,
no, he's like VP of the Taliban. He was like right behind Osama.
And it's like in print that we've got him again.
Yeah. Yeah. So they'll say like, we suspected we killed, Al-Zawahiri, but this was the drone that they killed him with, dude. So it comes out of this MQ-9 Reaper drone, which is totally unfair, by the way. Like flying drones into war.
This is the one that blended the guy?
Yes, that's it. Yes.
I heard about this, dude. Oh yeah. The sponsored by Ninja. It's like, what, dude? Yeah, I heard. Go ahead. Continue.
What was the chopper?
Yeah, the slap chop
product.
Slap chop.
The slap chops. This drone kill was sponsored by Slap Chop.
Yeah, dude. Talk to him. Tell me what.
So they shoot this missile out, and you think like, all right, so the missile's going to explode. No. It jumps out. There's 6 swords in it, and it shoots the swords out of the rocket. And that's so they like. I feel like they made this way fancier than they had to. Like you know where he is. You don't need to shoot a missile that shoots swords out of it like a ninja movie. You know what I mean?
And they said, like, it literally looks like you're exactly right. They shoot this out, and some guy, the bad guy, has a really big sword, and he tries to defend off all the blades. Like, that's what. And from what I've heard, step 3 of the process is just before impact, 6 blades shoot out of the side of the missile, and then it's fitted with lasers to drop and hit the target. So it drops on you, chops you, and is a missile. It's like,
yes, dude. The one guy in the chat said the who me drone bomb.
Yeah, dude. Oh, there you go, stink bomb.
Now that's a creation. You do a stink bomb with swords. The sword just lightly pokes you, and you stink for weeks. It's like getting sprayed with a skunk.
Back half opens, scorpions pop out. Then you got a big issue. Yeah, that's the atomic.
I'm trying to think of even crazier one. So it shoots out stink spray. So that's step 1. And then I like scorpions. What else is it annoying? Bees. They don't sting you, but you think they might. So you're freaking out because you're hearing.
And then just when you think everything's done, a big snake pulls its head out, and then that's when you know you're in big trouble. And then he eats you, and that's how we take out this John Smith, the leader of the Taliban, for the 6th time since 2006.
Dude, maybe you should start working for the CIA, dude. Come up with some crazy bombs.
Dude, I could be their big whiteboard guy. They just give me copious amounts of their finest marijuana. I sit in a room, and I just come up with fantastic ideas about.
Hear me out. We put a bear, a bomb,
a
grizzly, release it, and see what happens.
All right, we're gonna build an animal. It's like be a mad scientist for the CIA. All right, I'll take you. That is crazy though, dude. Like,
but dude, that's what they did though. Like the CIA, like for the war, because it was the OSS then, but in World War II, they were like, we want you to think of the craziest thing you can think of. Like they created poisons that they could kill you from a like it would hit you. They created poisons that wouldn't hit you right away. That would hit you 12 hours later, because then their agent could escape. I mean, brilliant stuff that they did with all these like germs and stuff.
Well, yeah. And that's the scary part. It's like, look at all this fancy technology that we never see or any. Imagine like you're talking about, like bombs that release chemicals at certain times of the day, like
Yeah.
I don't even know, but like some crazy shit they have that like if they wanted to, it could all be over very quickly.
Oh yeah, dude.
So this is just like the tip of the iceberg, the sword missile. Like this is a joke, dude.
I know. Like I get like, who said that's the one we should use? Like, why wouldn't you just blow them up? Why do you want to use? I think they just made this and they're like, can we please use it? Let's try it out. Let's try.
Yeah, like this. Yeah, you're exactly right. It's like all right, Johnny, we're gonna give you your shot. We're going with the sword missile.
Or it was like the guy's operation in charge. It was his kid's design. And
yeah,
he was like,
yeah,
all right,
exactly.
son, we're gonna put your design in here. Let's see how this works.
It's like the CIA got a mass email for a contest they're holding. Just who can design the most fun email or most fun missile.
That's funny. That could be like a skit.
Yeah, dude, it's so like that's so stupid. I don't know, but
yeah. And then we got like two more and then we can wrap it up. But so I wanted to show you this video. So it's this. Let me just. I got to be better at the. Oh, I got the wrong screen shared. One second.
Well, I give you all the credit because usually there's a third party for most podcasts. So you're doing a fantastic job.
I am our Jamie.
Yeah,
Jamie, pull that up for us.
Yeah,
pull it up for us. But so this video, it's like a ready play. So it's going to build this huge line. So I guess like 34 kilometers. So I don't know how far that is. So hopefully someone in the chat knows how many kilometers to a mile. But so it's
5K, 3 miles. So that's how I
very good.
think of it. It's rough.
It's like
3.2
is
3.2
5K
miles.
is 3.2 miles. Oh my God, we're looking like idiots.
So
3.2,
30, 18.
34. Yeah, like around there. Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So it's like 20 miles long. We're just gonna guesstimate, and it's a line. And so what they're gonna try and like they're gonna build this, I guess, in like like where the UAE is or the Saudi Arabia or somewhere. But this is what it looks like. They're building all these like you're basically gonna live in like a pod, an indoor like huge thing, and it's a glass travel. Yeah, you can see the video.
Jeez, dude. This is what's coming.
Zero carbon. That's like the big thing on it. You see like all the trees.
Yeah, didn't you tell me that the Truth the World loves the movie WALL-E, the Pixar movie?
Yes. I've never seen it, but the one with the fat kids, like
yeah. Well, that's this is gonna be, right? Like that's the goal is just to And so it's the Middle East. This is
so I think they're starting to like build it.
But who's they? Like, is this Saudi Arabian money? Like, is this
well, they're like one of the top, they've got the Saudi princes have so much money. So they're like one of the power players in the.
We should dive into that at some point because like what they're doing, like because it translates over to my world with the Live Golf Tour. Because they're paying like all the golfers absurd amounts of money, and they're trying to get looked at.
How are they supposed to make that money back? Like they're tell people what they did.
So basically, if you're unfamiliar with golf, like the PGA is the league, like that's like the MLB, the NBA. It's the major golf league that all professional golfers want to and aspire to play for. Recently, and they've never been combated by any other league coming in. The XFL tries to do it with the NFL, and it's looked at as a joke. So same kind of thing. But this time, the opposing league that is coming in is Saudi Arabian money based. Like that's kind of where I need your help, and we can dive in at some point, kind of like what that means. But all I know is from lamest terms, it's Saudi money that is paying professional golfers to come play for their tour. And when I tell you, like, they're getting like Phil Mickelson, him, he's been a long time golfer. They paid him, I think, $200 million to go play for them. Like, so they're not going to be, they don't get winnings anymore. The PGA plays golfers in terms of winning. So if you win the tournament, your payout could be $8 million. If you come in last, your payout could be $100,000. Saudi money is giving it to you all up front, being like, hey, you're going to sign on for us for 3 years. You're going to get all 200 now. You have to play in XYZ tournaments.
And so if you win their tournament,
I don't know if they have incentives still,
like a bonus or something.
Yeah, but I mean, to be honest, the amount of money they're throwing is way more than these guys have made career-wise, like in PGA earnings. So there are a lot of top-tier golfers are, it's an interesting split because the ones that are staying, a lot of them are very outspoken about it. Like, I wouldn't go play because I know where that money comes from. The other ones that have gone, for the most part, just say, look, this is about feeding my family. I'm going to get the money. I don't care where it comes. Like, they don't say that, but like, and to be honest, I kind of get it both ways. Like, you don't want to get, and like I said, I don't know that whole side of things, like where the money really comes from. But for me, it's like, dude, you're offering me a generational wealth that my grandkids could eat off of. I might think about it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. So,
well, and it's not like you said, like it's, so I guess they're going to play they're going to play in America though, right?
Yeah. So the golfers, some of them are allowed currently to play on the PGA as well. And some of the tournaments I think are going to take place in the US as well. So it's not like they're exiled, but the PGA now is starting to step up and like, you are not going to be playing in the PGA anymore.
Damn,
like you are,
dude.
But the idea is it's tough for the PGA because the live money, the live tour is the name of it. They have like unlimited, because from what I've gathered, Saudi money's unlimited.
They're like trillionaires.
Yeah, so they could just keep paying whoever as much as they want. So it's more about how the league's going to do, because if they're not successful, then it was all a waste. So but you get enough big names. That's why they just keep paying guys. Because if you get all, you know what I mean? If LeBron James now starts playing basketball in China, automatically they're getting 50 million more viewers a game because LeBron. So that's the thought. So
interesting, dude.
Yeah. So, and from what I've heard, they're doing it as a ploy to kind of get looked at in a better light. By
what, Saudi Arabia is?
Yeah, like because they're getting all the, I swear to God, dude, because they're getting like all these like lovable Americans and like, look, like we're not that bad. We put on this. That's what I've heard. So,
well, no, dude, it makes like they got in trouble. They like murdered a journalist. I don't know.
Yeah, that was them. Okay.
They chopped him up in like pieces, and they're like video evidence, and they're like, no, that wasn't us. And then once they got caught at the video, they're like, okay, yeah, it was us, but it happened within our borders. It's not your business.
I forgot about that.
Dude, like, so Instagram girls and stuff, they go to Saudi Arabia a lot, like, you know, the good looking whatever. And like, dude, they have these horror stories, like getting like defecated on, having to eat like these things. Like the one girl, she like had a post, she's like, I'm finally a millionaire, I can stop doing this, but this is what I had to do. And she like went to and like would have sex with animal, like like they make them do crazy shit, dude.
Yeah, dude. And I think it's all because they can. It's just they have, you know what I mean? They have the money to be like, yeah, all right, if you won't, I'll find someone else that will. Like, it's it's like that Epstein shit. You know what I mean? It's like, if you're not down, I'll find someone who is desperate enough. Like, it's
and they can like pick those people out like easy, you know?
Yeah. So now they're just doing it with professional athletes with a shit ton of money. So. It's
dude, that's crazy. I wonder if it'll beat, because like you said, the XFL, that's like, you're right, that was a joke, but aren't they, they're
back again. Yeah, they're for like the fifth time in 6 years.
He was the one who originally brought it back, didn't he? Or he created the XFL.
Yeah, and now he's out of wrestling too, retired. So
dude, so the last article I wanted to, so Scott and I always have this running joke of, if there's drugs always washing up on shore all the goddamn time in like Florida and stuff like that. Not that, and this story doesn't totally relate to that, but we saw one, just someone found like 2.2 million in cocaine in Florida. But so this story, so we talk about the bail things. I think we talked about that last episode, like drugs and the bail. Yep. And so in New York City, they got caught with 1.2 million in meth. And then released. And they're Mexican, you know, they're cartel, probably illegal immigrants, and they released to the bail laws. So you know they're never coming back. I mean, they are gone. But $1.2 million,
dude. And There you go. That's a New York Post article. Like, holy dude, if you're unfamiliar with meth, $1.2 million worth of meth is a lot of meth. So it's like, and the fact that you're getting, we got to get into that because, like, holy shit, dude, there's people that they can't afford it or whatever. And so, well, let me ask, why are these people free?
So this is like it's like this woke new rule, like and the bail system is screwed up. Like, when I was in jail and stuff, like you get the judge arbitrarily sets your bail, like my one judge.
Oh, so it's whatever they feel like.
Right. So the one crime I got caught in trouble for cashing checks that the guy I worked for paid me in. So I like this literally, I didn't. So when I got arrested for stealing all the stuff with a credit card I found, I was about to get out. I'm so dope sick. And so I'm excited. I know I'm about to leave, and I get out of my cell, and they go, "You're not leaving. You're going to Norristown for an open warrant." And I was like, "For what?" And so it was because of these checks.
Oh.
But so the judge, when she set my bail, she's like, "You're a drug addict, and you're not going, since you won't go to rehab. I'm setting it for, like it was like 10,000 or 15,000, which was way higher than what it should have. Like I shouldn't really have had any bail money because it was a non-violent crime. It was only like $800.
Yeah.
But so that's why they changed the bail laws, because it penalized being poor. And I understand that, dude. Like, that isn't a fair system at all. But not having a bail, you have this issue. So,
well, yeah. And dude, anyone who, even if there is any bail on these people, whoever has 1.2 mil of this has the funding to pay probably that amount to get these people out. And if they're worth getting out, they're going to get them out. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's like the movies. Like if it's a boss in there, they're going to get them the fuck out. And they, like you said, they're going to hop on the first bus down and never to be seen again.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. But the one theory, like, so I think I've told you about like serial killers, how the serial killers were, the story is like they're, this sicko lone wolf. They're like supposedly like more brilliant than anybody. They can't capture them until they use a psychoanalyst to find them out. But so the one story was there was this serial killer in Texas. And I had my notes, but now I can't find where they went. But there was a serial killer in Texas, and he kills like 2 people or whatever. And this is before he's like the serial killer. And they have a big push in like the late 90s to give people more chances, or like, let's not be so tough. Maybe people, whatever. Yeah. And so they get him out, and maybe I forget what year it was. So they let him out because they say, okay, it was like a mistake or whatever. And within 8 months, he kills like 25 people supposedly. And so the theory of the guy who wrote the book was that they pushed this like lax on crime to then cause a rise in crime. So then people pray and cry for a tougher on crime, which will now be even tougher than it was before. So it's like this
pendulum again. It's the same thing, dude. It keeps just, it's like, let's fight and then loosen. And that's the interesting thing too nowadays, especially like with the gun shit going on. Like, like eventually it'll swing one way, and then it'll be like, wait a minute, look at all the stuff going on. We need guns. And then
right.
So
right. But yeah, I think that's why they're doing this crime thing, is like they're gonna, because it's so, dude, like in Philadelphia, they just closed the Wawa. That's for any, like, in Main Street which is Center City, like the nice part of Philadelphia. There's a big, if you guys don't know what a Wawa is, it's a convenience store coming from Pennsylvania. And they have this huge store there. They closed it down because it was too much. They closed the CVS's down. And some people argue, well, it's not because of crime, it's because everyone's working remotely. But no, they're closing these stores because crime is so out of control. So I think what they're trying to do is put so much crime that the people we beg to lose rights for our safety. And that's why they're doing this.
And I know exactly what Wawa you're talking about. And the last time I was in that Wawa, I saw another man's penis. So that tells you kind of the situation that was in. I swear to God. Yeah. It was like a long time. We were in Center City, and dude, it's insane. And I think Philadelphia is pretty well taken care of in the news in terms of how insane it's gotten in terms of some of the neighborhoods.
The Starbucks? So like it was in Philly again. There was like these 2 black men in Starbucks, and they didn't order anything, and they wanted to use the bathroom, and the cops get called. Do you remember that?
Yeah, it was recent.
Right. It was like 2 or 3 years ago. It was right around like a BLM thing. And then so in response to that, Starbucks said, anyone can use our bathroom, blah, like it's open. We don't want to, that's too racist. What did they do 2 months ago? They closed the Starbucks store that the original incident happened at, and they closed 12 others in the cities because of what? Of crime.
Yeah.
Like you guys should be forced to stay open because you push this stupid thing.
Exactly, dude. Oh, you don't like this homeless man washing his feet in your toilet? Sorry, Starbucks. You didn't want it. Here it is.
Oh, you don't want to have to find overdose people in your bathrooms? Well,
yes,
that's what you wanted, dude.
Sorry, ma'am. I'll take a large black coffee and Narcan for the gentleman who's bleeding out of his eyes,
who's falling asleep, standing up over here like a zombie. Yes. I think I'll get a coffee for him as well.
Yeah. An extra shot.
I know. But it's just like the crime, dude, is so high.
Yeah.
It's
well, dude, nowadays, I'm not kidding. Like, everyone's a crazy person. Like, it's tough. Like, there's some wild people out there, dude, just like roaming free. And
well, dude, there's all these stories in California. Like, these people are like stabbing people, just like how you sent me that article, how the guy, the bodega guy is now moving back to Puerto Rico or Dominican Republic.
Because he escaped the murder charge because he
barely.
And isn't that some shit? He gets a gun pointed at his face, his life threatened. He defends himself with a knife, and he has to defend himself from the law.
I know, because they don't want you. They want you just to like give up your stuff.
Yeah,
it's an insane world. It's insane.
Yeah, and ruin my life, like my livelihood. That guy probably like. Every item in that store is meaningful in sales, and they just want him to give it up.
He's probably like pulling, like barely covering his rent and all these things. He's selling chips, for God's sake, and like he's not a millionaire.
If you're not familiar with marketing, an armed robbery doesn't do great for business either. So when that hits the news, it's like
that's true as well, dude. I'm trying to think of any other. Oh, we can end on this. This can be our last. Dinosaur, because I know they'll do the 5 minutes here. Let me pull this up. I wanted you to. So dinosaurs, I think I've gone over this story with you, how I don't think dinosaurs existed.
Yeah.
And I say this because there's never been a full fossil found. So many things that don't make sense with the dinosaur story. And I think, the Bible never talks about the dinosaurs. And so I think every culture talks about dragons. All over the world, they all talk about dragons, but no one mentions dinosaurs. No ancient culture ever talked about finding dinosaurs or dinosaur bones or anything like that. It all happens in like the 1850s, like around there, the same time that all our beautiful architecture stopped being made. So it doesn't make, there's something weird that happened in that.
I can see holes in it. Yeah.
But so this thing, though.
Oh, you saw this
video?
Yeah.
People watching, it's like a Komodo
dragon,
and he's literally just eating a deer whole, chewing, just swallowing a goddamn deer.
Yeah. So what I can bring to this podcast for sure is more animal clips, because I'm fascinated by this world, and this guy is. And it was funny you said that, because apparently recently we've also discovered that dinosaurs all had feathers too. Like, we're making new discoveries. Like, I don't know.
That's what someone in the chat just said.
Yeah, and they always say the Komodo dragon and like alligators, crocodiles are like the closest thing we've ever had. My thought of a dinosaur, what he just did to that deer, dude, he's got his legs sticking out of his front teeth like I do a piece of corn if I eat corn on the cob. Like, it's nothing. And then he just.
And where did it go, dude? It's just in his belly now? Like, where is it?
So what I've heard, dude, and what I know, I love animals. This dude is about to chill out for 24 hours. Like, he won't move. That he goes and camps out, because the other thing is he's cold-blooded. So this shit is about to last in his stomach for a long time.
Damn,
Like, yeah, he'll
dude.
survive for a long time, but that's why he was probably so hungry. They only eat every once in a while. Now you know why.
Jeez. Just look at him though, dude, eating that whole
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11,
Damn.
12. Under 20 bites and under 15.
How many licks does it take to get at the Tootsie Pop? How many licks does it take to get down a deer for a dragon?
Yeah, 15 for a Komodo dragon. That thing's wild.
And then there's one.
But I always think, Jack, about beating up animals. It's something me on my podcast we've discussed before. Like, if this thing came at me, I think I could take it. I think it's scary, dude. It's 2 feet tall. A swift kick to this thing's head. Teach it a lesson.
All right. Would you rather fight this or a silverback gorilla?
This easily.
Easily.
We've discussed, dude. The silverback would pick me up like a cartoon over its head and just go and just rip me in half.
Or
if you're on Twitter, dude, and if you can do this, just search gorilla slide and see if a video pops up. And if it doesn't, don't worry about it. There's one dude out of so Jack and I often talk about it, and silverback is the scariest of all animals. There's a video, it's at a zoo. You'll see it, dude. It pops out of this little window thing.
Here, I got it.
And woof. Look at that thing.
Well, dude, I told Scott this story before, but so I worked at a gym and my personal trainer, he was from Liberia. And so he was, he like escaped there with his brother, and he's this super jacked, super nice guy. And he was telling me stories of how when they would go get rice and go out to get food or whatever, if they were growing food, that gorillas would hide up behind the path after you picked up, like you farmed your rice or whatever you were collecting, and they would just rob the basket from you, and you couldn't fight them because they're just so you would just have to leave the basket and run. And dude, I just find, dude, look, they're monsters, dude.
I said about kicking that dragon's head, like this thing, dude, its skull looks so thick. I don't think a human hand could do anything against this. And if it gets a hold of you, dude, all they do is just rip your face. Like, I've seen a video, I've seen horrible stuff. These things are capable. Look at the little monkey who watches this guy. He freaks out.
Yeah.
Another gorilla gets scared of him. What do you think I'm going to do? I would be, oh, no way, dude.
So, gorilla or bear? Who are you going to fight?
I'm definitely scared. Oh.
Chat, 1 for gorilla, 2 for bear. Who would you pick to fight if it was your life or death? You got to fight a silverback gorilla or we'll go a brown bear.
Yeah, a grizzly. Because so what I'm thinking too, dude, is think of this all right, chat, we're in a forest-like setting. Like, I think you might be able to survive longer against a gorilla. Well, no, the bear will keep you alive longer by just fucking with you. But dude, if a bear I couldn't wrap my arms around a bear's neck. I would be toast, dude. Imagine feeling that weight of his paw on your chest.
Oh,
dude.
Like,
oh boy.
They're amazing. it's hard to believe they exist. And then, like, our ancestors used to just go around and like spear a woolly mammoth to death, yeah. Like something that's even bigger than an elephant.
Because you think of like even the animal population, it was way bigger back then. And these dudes didn't have electrical fences to put up like around their campsites. Yeah, like you were literally going to bed just being like, well, hopefully something doesn't sniff me today. It's like you're toast.
Well, dude, I told you about that Alone show, how the one girl, they're in like Grizzly Island or something, and they find that like a bear trap from the 1850s, and all it is like one of these like clappers that would snap, like cack the bear's leg in, and like it would be a slow, painful death.
Yeah, and hopefully break its ankle.
Yeah,
dude, it's so funny you said that. On vacation, I watched the first episode of Alone.
Yeah,
and of like the season on Netflix, and there's this like hippie chick who's like, "Woo, I just want to feel it. And then they cut to her and she's like crying and she's in shambles because she can't handle it. I thought it was so funny.
It's such an amazing. Those people are amazing that can do all that stuff. Like
Well,
that's and everyone used to be able to do that.
and
Like
so
everyone.
we talked about it on my show. If you were dumped into the wilderness, we said so you were dumped near a river. How long would you, because I looked it up, the average human, how long do they think? How long would you give yourself if dumped alone? And we said, like they gave you like a lighter and a weapon, like a gun. Do you think, how long could you survive for?
Dude, me?
Yeah, that's
a day. I'd be like Michael Scott in The Office.
Okay.
I'd rip my pants. I'm going to use these for a sweatband, and then I'm going to get cold and have to duct tape them back to my legs.
That's how. Okay, I'm glad you were very honest, because if you said anything but that, I was going to call bullshit heavy. So
well, you'd be okay. Because
I think I would honestly. So Jared, who I do my show with, we both agreed. I think we would last. The average human thinks that they could survive about 2 weeks in the wild. So
that's what
I
the
agree.
average human thinks.
Yes. So, because obviously there's no like answer. It's not like how long do people survive in the wild? Like, because you can't like get a surefire answer on it. So that's the average what they think. I said what would take me out is eating the wrong thing. I would stumble in and be like, "Ooh, I'm so hungry. These look good," and it would be.
Dude, well, everyone gets sick from eating squirrels. They always eat a squirrel, and they always get sick from the goddamn squirrel. I've seen.
Now this is coming from a strong culinary background. You got to go well done when you're cooking in the wilderness.
Ooh,
can't be cooking squirrel medium rare and trying to get away with it.
Dude, well, how do they in the bears? That bear meat looks disgusting, dude. It's like all like fatty.
Purple.
Yeah, and there's like hair on it. It looks in the fat. It looks
little
disgusting.
known fact, but back in the day, bear oil was the primary oil to cook with because they rendered all the fat down from when they got a bear. So.
Well, see, do you know the big thing in like our the like fitness sphere, the weird like the right wing bodybuilding world is seed oils. Oh. Your wife's probably home.
Probably. Yeah.
Well,
but no, I do know that too.
Maybe they were onto something cooking that bear fat. Oh, Rosalind says bears have worms.
Yes, they do, and they have a parasite in them, so you have to cook bear meat well done, or they can kill you. But
jeez,
either way, we could save it for another day.
Wes says we have Pizzly bears now. Polar bears and grizzlies growing closer. They're hybrid.
Bullshit. We need to see a tweet. Send it to me on Twitter, because if I see that, I'm a big bear guy, so I need to see a Pizzly.
Polar bear and grizzly. And we'll end with this if we can find one. Dude, it exists. Wes is always right, dude.
Let's go, dude.
Wes is he's always knows what he's talking about every time. Let me just share this. This will be our last
let me see a picture. Here
it is, dude. A Pizzly bear.
Whoa. Dude. That top one looks so. Do the one to the right. It's got like the fat roll one.
This guy?
Yeah. I'm still not convinced. I'll do my digging. Wes, you and I are gonna have a conversation. I don't see enough pictures. I'm not sold. All right, we'll see.
Artemis says Pizzlies is why humans invented shotguns. So true. So true. Yeah, you're not winning again. I can't believe that. Pizzly bears.
No.
What a great. All right. So this was a lot. We had like 15 people watching. So guys, I hope you had a fun time on your Friday night. Scotty, where can people listen to you, find you, all those good things?
Yeah, we're JBN Pod, so it's JBNPOD on Twitter. Check us out. We're goofing around doing a whole lot of nothing, and I'll be here with Jack too. Like you talked about, whenever we're called upon, we will answer the bell.
It should be on soon. So, but I'll link your show there.
Sweet.
So guys, thanks for watching again. I hope you had a fun time on your Friday night, and we'll do some more fun shows soon once the radio station opens. And that's it. All right, guys, take care. I'm Jack Allen. I'll be back next week, Monday or so. I got part 2 of Search of Manchurian Candidate. So we'll talk to you then. Have a good weekend. God bless. Peace out.
Peace.